Ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on this little Bilt mower that most people would have passed up and left for dead. Now I can see it's been sitting around for a while and she needs a little bit of love, but this should be a pretty easy fix. We're going to put some tires on it. We're going to go ahead and put a new side cover on it, and I'll go over what each one costs as we do it. And we're going to go ahead and do the regular stuff, put new fuel lines on it and a carb rebuild and put new fuel in it. And I think she's going to run okay. So let's get started. So we're going to do the obvious stuff first. We're going to pull the carburetor and go ahead and clean the jets up on it and make sure she's ready to go. Check the little O-ring in the back. Make sure it's still in a good place. And we'll put a new fuel line on the way back. So we use the 5/16? Yeah, I think. And we're going to use the 3/8 for the next step. Okay, when you're doing something like this, make sure you got some place to keep your assorted tools and nuts and bolts and whatnot, so you don't have to replace them when you're done. There's nothing like doing a job like this and then having to go chase around for nuts and bolts when you're done because you didn't keep track of them. Okay, that's that. Now we're going to pull this top cover off, which is a Phillips. You see the air filter. That's a little bit dirty. That might be a new record. That's felt. Okay, we'll put our tools here. Get this out of the way and pull the top off. And I'm expecting this whole job to only take about 15 minutes tops. Now we're going to switch off to the quarter and pull the choke off. Now on these, I've seen people actually take the auto choke off these, but you don't want to do that. The choke on these is just a rock star. It works like a charm. Okay, now we're going to cut the fuel line and drain the old fuel out. Let's see how much it's got. It doesn't have a whole lot, so that'll make it easier. Let me get our magnet out of the splash zone here. And a screw gun. And the reason we're cutting it is we know we're going to replace it anyway. Since I don't have something shorter, we're going to kink the fuel line before we cut it. Get out of here, you. Okay. All right, kink the fuel line before we cut it. That way we're only going to lose a little bit. Whoa. That never fails. Okay, she looks a whole lot better now. It's amazing what a quick spray with cleaner and a hose will do for you. There's not much in the way of oil on the side of the motor. It's usually just grass and time. You know, grass and dirt and humidity from the engine. Okay. We get a good look. Come on, buddy. There we go. My fingers are all slippery. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a look inside. This one actually looks really nice and clean inside. This is a good looking carburetor. So we're going to focus on the jet and get her back together. And if you're doing this, go buy yourself some floral wire. It's super, super cheap, and it comes in handy for hanging Christmas decorations later. See, we're going to run it through the little side hole. Not quite finding its way through. There it goes. You can see I'm running it in a manner where it touches all the sides of the hole. Now we're going to go down the middle. Oh, I feel all sorts of stuff in the middle. We're going to make sure it goes in and out easily all the way to the bottom. Run it around a little bit. See what it feels like. That feels good. And just this will take a motor from being one that's almost impossible to start to a first pull start. Especially if it's got this auto choke. Okay, we can put our gasket down here, and that looks good. The O-ring, I should say. Let's get her back together. And believe it or not, that's all there is when they say they clean a carb. That's the only thing they do. That's all that's necessary. You've got a little hole here, and you run a wire down it, and that runs clear into the inside of the carburetor. That almost never clogs on this carburetor, though. It's almost never a problem. But I run the wire through anyway on the way out, just for safekeeping. Okay, get on there. Let's tighten her back up. Go check the O-ring. O-ring here. And we should be good to go. Now, if yours has got the auto choke, this gasket is only semi-important. It just keeps dirt out and nothing else. If you don't have the auto choke, if you've got a primer motor, then you want this gasket to be absolutely perfect. But the thing will never start. It'll run fine, but it won't start because it won't prime correctly without that gasket. Okay, not too tight. Let's get her back on the motor and see how she runs. Okay, the next step is going to be new fuel line. This is a smart time to replace a fuel line, even if it's your home one, even if you're not reselling it or anything. And I always use Gates fuel line, 27002. And the reason I use it is it's nice and flexible, and the stuff lasts forever. For those of you that don't know, Gates is a big brand name. So we're going to measure off based on the old one. You'll notice I left a little extra, and the little extra is just for the little piece I cut off on the other end. Okay, there's my pliers. The reason we're doing this is fuel line does get old, and it can expand on the inside, and you won't be able to tell on the outside that it's expanded, and you can have a mystery problem where you just can't figure out why it won't start. Now in this case, the old fuel clamps are really nice, so we're going to use those. Let's scoot it up just a little bit more. There we go. And if you took pictures when you took it apart, putting it back together is just easy peasy. You're going in the reverse order of the way you took it apart. So the very last thing we did was this. We unhooked it from the motor. We'll go ahead and get her, let's get this out of the way. There you go, buddy. We can put it here before we do the fuel line. And we might as well put those bolts back on. But it's super important to not try to, oh yeah, I mentioned the gasket. Gasket's right there, and it looks good. I mentioned earlier not to put it together in the wrong order. And the reason for that is the fuel line can hang up putting this linkage back on. Okay, where's my other? Grab our other clip. Throw that back on. And we're doing all this before we do any of the other things this mower needs, because we don't want to throw money at it if the piston's blown. Okay, that should just about do that. We are all back together. The only thing we've got left is our choke. A little auto choke, which tab goes right there. Let's get you out of the way. We'll get it started. And be careful to make sure this runs free. If it's hanging up any place, then you want to pull the motor apart and check it. Because the other end of this goes through a little hook. See how it's returning nicely? And it's not hanging up on anything. That's super important on this motor. Okay, let's get the airbox in place. Stuff that on. Hold it there. We'll get that first nut all lined up. And that'll hold it in place while we do the rest. Now on an auto choke, this faceplate just simply needs to be on. on a primer one without the auto choke mechanism here, you're going to want to make sure that this goes on just perfectly correctly. Okay, let's put some fuel in it and put her on the ground and make sure she runs, and then we'll get to work on the next step. Now for the fun part, the infamous first pull. And I have not tried this in any way, shape, or form. Just simply, we redid the carburetor, cleaned the jets, put new gas in it. There you go, now the noise cancellation's off. Let's see if she'll move. And she does. That was the first pull after sitting who knows how long. So now let's put the wheels and stuff on it and get her pretty. Now I know I'm going to hit a whole lot of Honda people that tell me the Honda's a better motor or blah, 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 blah. But that thing's been sitting for probably years. I don't know. And it started on the very first pull. From the time I got this mower, I pulled the cord one time and it started. And all we did was clean up the carburetor and put jets on, put clean jets in it. So let's move on and spend a little money on it. So you're going to find a couple of different kinds of wheels on these mowers. These are just hubcaps. Let me grab a screwdriver. If you've got these and you can't see the bolt in the middle, not a big deal. Pop them off and there you go. So we'll take this one off. Easily peasily. And these wheels are functional and we saw that they will drive, but they don't have much tread. So let's slip these on in their place. Put our little bolt back on and we're done. I'll hit the back wheels with the pressure cleaner real quick before I sell it. And she's good to go. Make sure she feels good. She feels good. Let's go to the other side. I'm going to pop this one off. This one already is missing a hubcap, which is way more common. We're holding it up with one hand, pop the other one on with the other. And there you go. So now we've only got a couple of things left and this one's out the door. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, make sure she rolls good. And it feels good. So let's move over to the side. Blade looks okay on this one. It's actually sort of got an edge on it. But we can't sell it with this big hole here. So we're going to grab our handy dandy 3/8 wrench and pull the bracket off real quick. And this really is just this easy. Getting the old one off is easier than putting the new one on. The only reason it's easier than putting the new one on is that it's in the way. So we're going to get our bolt hole started here. And try to get that first thread on blindly. Now looks like we got lucky on that one. Usually I end up battling them a little bit. And you can see this makes a huge difference in the way it looks. And of course in performance, because you don't have to worry about killing your neighbor, throwing rocks through his windows. And that's it. That's a $15 part. Okay, the only thing we got left is a brand new air filter. And that's it, we're done. This thing's ready to go. Of course, it'll get a bath before it goes anywhere. You know, run the pressure cleaner across it. And if you run a pressure cleaner on it, use care not to knock the stickers off. Just go around those and clean them by hand. Okay, maiden voyage with everything all put together. So let's see what she does. So I pulled it twice and started twice. This one little spot in the yard is my test area. Whenever I'm running the lawnmower around, I cut this one little area to make sure it works. This is a little too small to get my rider in here, so I get that part over with before I cut the rest of the yard, and I get to test the mowers. If you're ever buying a used lawnmower, look for that motor first. That's the Briggs Quantum, or as some people like to call it, the flathead. You know it's a flathead based on the fins being right here and the spark plug being in it, and there's no valve cover. So, all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free, and it's worth it, I think. It's what we work for. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.